the dark of the night, we'd creep without a sound. Grizzly Chris and the gang, searching all around. With our flashlights blazing, we call out to the air. Who knows what we'll find if we dare to care. Spirits start to giggle, the ghosts wanna play. Ghost hunting's a blast, it's all in good fun. With Grizzly Chris leading, the adventure's begun. Let's chase after shadows, let's hunt for a scare. Who thinks we'll find something? Come join if you dare.
Well, hello there, Tank.
Hey. Welcome, guys. Welcome, Prayer Family. How's it going?
All right. What we got tonight?
Tonight's going to be awesome, man. We've got the owners of the Brooks Estate in East Prairie, Missouri, and we have the team of Generation X podcast as well. They're going to help us with the history, so this is going to be an awesome show.
Oh,
ready for it.
I can't wait, man. What excitement.
Oh, yeah. We've been working for this for a long time, about 2 years, so I'm ready.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's bring him in. Welcome. Hello, everybody.
Hey, welcome, guys.
All right, here. So introduce everybody there, Tank.
All right. So, of course, I'm Tank. I'm your host. I'm going to actually let them introduce themselves, but I will say their names, of course. This is Christian and Michael Odell. They own the Brooks Estate in East Prairie, Missouri. And this is... Oh, hey, sorry. you're a little bit delayed, so bear with me here.
Okay.
Nicole and Logan from Generation X Paranormal. They are... they've teamed up with me to help me get the history and are going to help me some at the Brooks Estate as well.
That's right.
So, without further ado, I would like... Kristen and Michael, if you'd like to introduce yourselves, just say, tell us a little bit about the Brooks Estate and yourselves.
Okay. I'm Kristen and this is Michael. And let's see. Michael bought the Brooks estate about 3 years ago for us to renovate and move into. And it didn't take long for us to realize that we were not going to live here. There was a little too many weird things that happened during the renovation. And so we decided the next best thing was to open up an Airbnb and let other people enjoy the spooks and the haunts that we have gotten to experience while coming over here rarely.
Natalie just called you red.
Natalie. Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. So if you want to, Michael, you guys want to say, or you guys want to talk about anything else before we hit the history?
Is there anything you want to say first?
I'll let you go ahead.
Oh yeah. No, let's talk about the history and then we can talk about the fun stuff.
Go for it. You're up, Nicole. You guys introduce yourselves first. And
We'll do. So yeah, we're Generation X Paranormal. I think one of the things that we like to always say separates us a little bit from some of the other podcasts and other investigators, and Tank, we talked about this before. So if you were actually worried about the history, everybody wants to nail down, just the experience and just the activity, but they don't realize that there's a whole reason why this is happening. There's an inherent history with, obviously, with the Brooks estate and with a lot of other places that, you can, number one, you can get a much better experience if you know the history, because you may actually be able to interact and actually get a better investigation. And we think, unfortunately, that's where some people fall short. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I am probably, I'll admit it. I'll fall on the sword. I'm not the greatest researcher, which is why she is the brains behind our operation. I've got the gift of gab, I guess. That's probably what I got.
Yes, he does.
But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, that's important. And, we really appreciate you reaching out. So, Nicole can get the history. So if you want to go ahead and.
Yeah, very happy to help. Okay, so let's get started. I took about 3 days to pour over all of this and find it. I went down a rabbit hole and I spent the entire day. Mm-hmm. But once you start getting stuff, it's like you can't stop. You just keep going and keep going and keep going. I utilize newspapers.com, which is a great resource for any researchers that are looking for stuff. You can find a lot of information from that, which also ties to ancestry.com. You can find pictures, you can find, gravestones, all that stuff. So those are the two that I primarily use. I also researched some historical societies too. Didn't get a lot from that on this specific thing, but this is what I found. Okay, so the original farmland. So there's no house there when it first started, and Dave Brooks bought the farmland and built the home in 1918. And he moved there when he was an older gentleman with his adult son and his wife and their little boy. And then a little bit later after that, his daughter became a widow. Her husband died, and she moved into the house as well. Okay, so you've got Dave and Leonard Brooks, his wife and child, and his daughter, Bertha Prince, all living in the house around 1920. Bertha, the daughter, was the first one to die in the house of typhoid fever at 25 years old. So that's the number one. There have been several people. Young, very young. Okay. And then J.D. Brooks, which was the son of Leonard, so the grandson of David, passed away at pneumonia at 11 months old. So a little bitty guy.
Wow.
Heartbreaking.
Then Dave Brooks dies in the house of a cerebral hemorrhage at 74 years old. So 3 members of that family have died within just a short period of time.
In the house.
In the house. Those are confirmed in the house.
Wow.
Yes.
That's the beginning.
That's the beginning.
Yeah. And you got to remember, in these early years, early 1900s, people didn't go to the doctors much. They didn't have hospitals, stuff like that, especially in rural areas. Most people died in the home.
Right. That part's not overly unusual. It's just, when you look for reason, right? You look for that history. You look for the why, right?
There you go.
Right. Into the why.
Now, I'm going to skip over a bunch of stuff because it basically just passed down to several owners after that. Could somebody have possibly, passed on the property at that point? Yes. You're not going to find all of that. But as far as the owners living in the house, I didn't find any more deaths in the house. They either died in a nursing home or they died at the local hospital. Incidentally, though, all the owners that lived in the house are buried in the cemetery there in East Prairie. So you will be able to find them if you go to the cemetery. Okay, so the next person that is significance that died in the house, his name was Ernest Cranford, and he died at 80 or 61 years old, and he had a very long illness. I couldn't find what it was, but he did pass away. What I find interesting is he was an interior decorator. And with you guys speaking about renovating the home, who would be upset about that out of everyone we're talking about?
An interior decorator.
An interior decorator, especially if he doesn't like what you're doing. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And then after that, it passes down to multiple owners. I think it eventually becomes a rental property. There's no record of any deaths after that happening in the home. But there was another family. So if we go back all the way to the beginning from the Dave Brooks, the first person that built the home, there was another family. I wasn't sure at the time if they were the ones that built the home or if it was Dave Brooks until I, got the deeds from the property, was able to confirm it was Dave, because there was a William Brooks that died at almost 11 years old. He passed away with the same last name. And I honestly think that it was a relation. He's probably over at the house all the time.
Mm-hmm.
If these were more affluent people with them having all this farmland and having this home, they could have been helping out a family member and was taking care of the little boy that was sick, and he may have passed away in the home. That's William Brooks.
We do every now and again. I think I mentioned that to Kristen and Michael. We do every now and again get Billy. That's why I was thinking that might be the kid's name, because we keep getting Billy.
Mm-hmm.
William would be Billy as a kid name. So
Right.
that's what I was thinking. Which I think Vaughn is another person there, but I think Billy's the one that. We'll talk about the paranormal in a minute. Sorry.
Yeah.
Keep on going with the history. It gets, I get fired up about paranormal. So go ahead. Sorry.
And the chances are it's probably for sure from the family, because you got to think about obviously being a rural area.
Yeah. With the same last
Brooks
name.
is a very, it's a very common name, but how many people were living in that area with that last name,
Right.
So.
Yeah. My guess is that this William Brooks was probably the nephew of Dave Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess. It was probably his brother's child, and that would make sense.
That does make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he did die of malaria. It said on the death certificate, congestive chill, and I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So then I had to go figure that
Malaria.
out. And malaria.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Congestive chill.
Yeah.
What a way
So
to
they
put that.
shake a lot, during
yeah.
the sickness, and it's a very long death.
Man,
So that would make sense if it was a traumatic death.
that's
yeah.
a bummer.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the wrap up of the home. Now, some of the items that came into the home could contribute. I didn't get any significant ties to that. There's a few things of the pictures and stuff that you brought into the home coming from a certain town. There was a lot of tragedy in that town, but nothing specifically tied to those objects. So we don't want to base anything off of that. But it's just important to remember that it does have a tragic
History,
tie.
tie.
Yeah, we think it's a portal.
Could be.
I mean,
Could be.
wait a minute. Did we finish the history part?
We are done with the history. Yeah.
I don't want to
That's
cut
part of
in.
what I found.
No,
No, you're
you're
good.
good.
You're
I'm
good.
bad. I'm
We're-
really bad about that.
that kind of completes of what I could find at this moment. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, and plus, guys, Parafamily, if you want the history, we have the history saved. I have it on a link, a Google Drive link. Speak, Jason. Tank. You could call me whatever. But if you guys want the history, I do have that as well. If you want to see the full history, just let me know. You can message me or whatever. So now the paranormal part.
Yes.
Do you guys, Kristen, do you guys want to talk anything about the paranormal side of it? Like as far as what you've experienced?
Well, I want to make a couple of points real quick because I'll forget if I don't. But going back to Billy,
Mhm.
as far as Vaughn, that's what we call the spirit, the child spirit in this house. That didn't come from anything specific. That's what we came up ourselves.
I thought
Okay.
somebody.
Okay.
I thought you had picked
So
that up from somebody. Oh,
no,
okay.
no. We wanted a name. We wanted to name our
Oh,
little boy in the house, so we
Sure.
named him
He
Vaughn.
told the girl that during the Esther session that
That-
he didn't like his name.
Yeah, he didn't like
Yeah.
his name, so we renamed
Oh.
him,
We'll
and
call him
that's
Vaughn.
why we call him Vaughn. But Billy has come up before, and then of course somebody calls him Dennis. But I really feel that I think it's one child spirit. That's what I get from it. And I feel like it is a little boy. And as far as age goes, I don't know, but he likes to play on the stairs. So and yeah, I forgot where my other thought was. We'll come back to that. But
It
anyway. But
I
yeah,
sidetracked.
I think he is the biggest presence in the house, and I know that there is there's another one, male or female. I feel like it's a female, and I hear it walking around upstairs all the time, or hear her. And the interesting point, this is what I was going to get at, is everything that we have experienced, anyone that's been in the house that has experienced, it's been a child, it's been a woman, there has been a male presence, and the names that have come across and things, and we got all of that prior to even knowing any of the history. So
Yeah.
when you get the history and you're
Isn't that
thinking
crazy?
about all of these experiences, it just all starts to click, and you're like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, you remember this and you remember this. And it makes sense now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if that is what is here.
For sure.
And to me, it makes it even that much more real for
Mhm.
me. I'm not as crazy as sometimes I think I am. Because now there is something more to it. So
Right.
Right.
yeah.
And-
So
and
thank you.
that's-
Thank you, Nicole, for putting that together for us.
Yes.
Putting those
Oh, you're
pieces
very
together.
welcome.
Yes.
You're
It
very
means
welcome.
a lot. So
Good.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
See, now we have ammunition.
Yeah.
yes.
I had a gun, but I didn't have the ammunition, and I've been digging for the ammunition for 2 years to prove that this place is what I'm saying it is and what other people are saying it is. Well, it's about to take off because we have the full history, and I can show you videos upon videos, and there are several other people, individuals, and teams that have been there that I could get videos and things for also to show that it's haunted if you folks would like to see.
We have a lot
So-
of records.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that kind of a point I want to make that circles a little bit with the history, but probably some of the evidence that you've got. I've seen that you can get a very small sample of data, right? We're going to get a little heady and a little nerdy here for a second. You can get a little sample of data and it's evidence, which it is. It's valid. That's not a problem. But what happens is if you only go by that small amount of data, you can't get the full 30,000 foot view.
Right.
And with having the history now, Kristen and Odell, you look at it from a much bigger scope now. And then I find that sometimes when you have that, it sometimes demystifies and takes some of the fear away.
Mhm.
The more you gain some of the
Yeah.
knowledge, the more that you get.
Mhm.
I mean, you always say like a face to the name or whatever you want to say, but now it's no longer just potentially a little boy or just a child. Now we have something that could potentially be an explainable phenomenon. And I think that's big time important into what we want, what I would imagine you guys would want to do moving forward. When, investigators go there now, they have a history and they have something that's more concrete than just those little snippets.
That was the issue. Like I said, I could pull all the history I could from Mississippi County. I could pull all those things, but finding that specific area was tough. That's why I was like,
Mhm.
"Hey, can anybody help me?" And then Nicole came in, and we took all what Kristen and Odell had, and Nicole, and all of us put together. We finally got the ammo. I know I keep
Yeah.
saying that, but I've been trying for a while now. But now I've actually got the means and the people to help me make this place what it deserves to be.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So,
I think it's important to note though, with all the deaths that we know happened in the house, none of them were easy deaths.
Mhm.
Typhoid fever is a terrible way to
Yeah.
die. Malaria is a
Mhm.
terrible way to die.
I couldn't
if that's
imagine.
what happened. Yeah. And as far as the Dave dying with the cerebral hemorrhage, That's
It's
instant.
lights off.
It's
Yeah, I mean, he's
if
out.
he even know he's gone, he may not know he's dead.
I've got a lot of experience with that. So
Yes. So that you need to take that into consideration as well.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely. You know,
Mhm.
and
Traumatic deaths.
you'll find that a lot with a lot of the quote unquote hot spots out there that, you know, you get some trauma, you're going to have some people that have passed that are,
Mhm.
you know, they're really upset, or maybe they just flat out don't know.
Right.
What I think is interesting that potentially is happening at the Brooks estate is we're not looking at a ton of residual haunting,
Mm-mm.
which
No.
is interesting because
For
you
it
know,
to be older.
right, for it to
You
be
would think
older,
there'd
you
be
would think
more
you
of
would get
that.
a lot more residual, but
Mhm.
it's much more active. And I find that interesting. So the idea of it being a portal is not exactly out of the realm of possibility. You know, the truth of the matter is, with them being active the way that they are, you know, could there be potential other spirits that could come and go? I mean, absolutely. And I think that if you buy into the whole, you know, I can go on and on about this, but if you get into the interdimensional part of it, and another thing that I find interesting too is time slip. So there's a lot of people that believe that entities aren't necessarily entities in their time. So it's almost like a window opens up and you see them and it's a time slip. So while we're seeing them as a projected entity in their timeline, they are not. In fact, in a kind of an interesting way, we become the entity at that point. So there's a lot of interesting give and take. There's a lot.
There's a rabbit hole.
There's a rabbit hole you can go down there.
I could do a whole show on just. We should do a whole show
Yeah.
for real. We should get on a show and
Yeah.
just do the whole
Right.
show on that.
Mhm.
I'm serious.
Is
I can rabbit hole
incredibly
forever.
interesting. Which
Yeah.
is why I find the Brooks estate a little bit better than just because residual hauntings are awesome. They're absolutely important to record. They're very the good news is they constantly happen, right? They're residuals, so they're kind of on
Always
a
there.
timeline. It's always
Mhm.
there. So documenting them and going through it is a lot of fun. But when you get that added bonus of it being okay, now we can interact. Now we have a place to go. I just find it really interesting that it's in such a well-established history. And that's what I find very interesting.
Mhm.
It's awesome. Definitely. I mean, that was like I said, I keep saying it, but the history was the key. I mean, everybody, when they see the house, since it's been renovated, you know, it's a beautiful house. It's a cute, gorgeous, cozy home. And everybody just sees, well, it's been renovated. They've painted it. That doesn't mean, it doesn't matter if you painted it or not. That doesn't mean that the spirits have packed up and left. Like,
Right.
Right.
it doesn't have to be an old beat up hospital or a house that's half burnt down or torn down. Like I can go down here to Burger King. Our Burger King's probably haunted because the Civil War went through there. You know, it's not.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not. It's nothing to do with the building, and that's
No.
the biggest issue I've had with them. Sorry, my nose itch. The biggest issue I've had with them is the fact that it looks newer. Like I've had people confront me like, "Well, it's a newer house." I'm like, "Okay, I live in a house that's from the 1950s that I'm trying to fix right now into a newer house. Does that mean it's not haunted?" Like, you know, that's what I don't. That's the hardest thing to push across to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the people that don't care, like, you know, like the people that are the TV people that like watch it's not as seen on TV. The TV people that like watching the TV stuff, they want
Right,
to do
yeah.
that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just it's a rabbit hole. Like I said, I can get swallowed into it forever and
I
talk
w-
forever about it.
Yeah, I will say this: the most significant experiences I've ever had have been in places that you would never expect it, ever.
Yeah.
Our
It's
library's
not the
haunted.
scary,
The
broken
library.
down, paint peeling off the walls type of scary situation. It's always something you don't expect it to come from.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
It's really weird.
Mhm.
And I think that's very important to take away with the Brooks estate because it's easy to tie it down just to, you know, brick and mortar type buildings. But, you know, there's a lot of rich history just in that area alone, not just the estate itself.
I mean, Lewis and Clark.
Yeah,
Like right up
exactly.
the street. I mean, there was like you know, what was the Indian tribe that was there? I mean, it happened all over the place there. Like there was a massive war tribe there as well.
Were there,
wasn't it?
The graveyard's right back here behind.
I don't know if the Osage were down that
I'm
far.
not sure.
Maybe.
There was one I saw it in the other. I've passed through the history, but there's just a lot of tragedy. In other words, just just a lot of tragedy, and
Yeah.
that's what we just got to get it across. That's I know I keep drilling that, but just because it's pretty doesn't mean it's not haunted.
No,
Right.
exactly.
So,
And we talked a little bit about one of the entities, or one of the confirmed spirits that's had some interaction, could potentially be a previous renovation person, or not a renovation person, a
Interior decorator.
Now I have an English problem. Anyway, we always assume that they're angry. That's not always necessarily, I think, the situation. I think that if this particular person is there and is interested in what's going on, it's taking an interest. And I think that the way they show their interest can sometimes be misconstrued as, okay, something evil's happened or something scary's happening. It's scary because we're not used to seeing it. But for them, they may be seeing it as, okay, you put this paint on, I'm interested in seeing it. They break through, and just because there's an activity associated with that, now there's sometimes an intrinsic fear in that. And that's where sometimes I think that you got to, and now listen, I say that, and if I'm there and something happens, I'm probably going to scream and freak out. Okay.
well, you're going to be there. So
let's not forget that for just a second.
Yeah.
But after I
material that we put in here that they've been in here overnight or 2 days or whatever, and we come back in here and things will be broke.
Yeah.
Really?
They so they do get angry. They don't like Odell. Like, for some reason, when he well, actually, it's got to be the guy that's the renovator. It has to be. Isn't that when it started, when you started renovating Odell? Isn't that when it got really bad, is when you started renovating?
It used to have I don't know how to describe it other than there was the walls, and it was like a maze in here. You had to go out of one door and around and to the other one or whatever. We was in the kitchen one night. And, I don't know. It just things started happening, and it was just me and the guy I had hired, and the guy before him. He just quit on me. He wouldn't. He didn't come back. He left some tools. He left some other things, and I've never heard from him. I've tried to contact him several times, if nothing else, to give his the few things that he left back and to pay him, because he had he had a little bit of time in here. So, and he doesn't want to talk to me. He doesn't want to, I don't know.
He didn't like him. He didn't like him renovating that house.
No.
Nope.
The other, the second guy that, he done a lot of it. There's a lot of things that happened to him that he just kind of kept to himself, I guess, until it got to the point to where he needed to say something.
Yeah.
And then, because me and him both, we had some, I don't know, man. I don't know how to explain it. But I know that, like, the pictures that I have and some of the footage from the video and stuff like that, it's the same thing, like, pretty much over and over, that we've seen or somebody else has seen. And we've had people just come up to us or call or whatever and like, hey man, this, I used to live there. My parents or whatever used to rent that from somebody, and when I was a kid, and we had to move. And I do remember because I was a kid over there at one time. I remember several different families that was in and out of here.
We should see if we could find some of them and get some of those stories.
Yeah, that would be really nice to have.
Do you think I wonder if we could. I need to figure that out. Maybe we can figure out something to try to get some of those stories.
Right.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Just to hear other folks' stories as well, like that live there. Maybe we can put out I'll dig into that.
One of them, she lived catty corner over there where my son's house is, and her parent, what was it, the fence in the front? They had to put the fence in the front yard because when she would catch them with their back turned where she'd leave, and she would go play with the little boy across the street, which was here.
And there was no little boy that lived
There was no little boy here.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
So that must have been Billy. I mean,
her mom,
yeah.
Her mom, there was, I guess, an older couple that lived here at the time. They didn't have kids or anything. But that the girl would, she told us she would, and her parent or mother did too, that she would come over here to play with the little boy, and they finally had to, to fence it in over there where she couldn't break loose.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's...
I mean, They've got all
Wow.
kinds of stuff. I mean, you've sent me videos
Unbelievable.
galore. I
Mhm.
mean, they've got we got a picture of like the boy. There's one of Billy sitting on the front porch. I mean, one of the coolest ones I've ever seen is the cowboy. Like Natalie had mentioned earlier. Natalie, type that back up again. Who did you say that might be? We have an awesome, like, he has an awesome picture of a cowboy. It's like one of the coolest ones I've ever seen.
We had a couple people look into some things, and there was a, what was his job title?
The land.
Land dispute judge in 1892, I believe. And I don't know, man. To me, if you put them side by side, I mean, which
Very similar.
Yeah. I
Mm.
mean, it's amazing. I mean, just
That's cool.
I can't wait for you guys, Nicole. I can't wait for y'all.
I know.
Grizzly,
I'm
Grizzly, if you're able to
excited.
tag, I think you're busy then, but if you're able to tag along. Oh yeah, so folks, which I'm going to keep talking about the paranormal side, but we're going to be filming with Grizzly, as well as we're helping out one of my friends, Alice, for Paranormal 24/7. January 14th, we're going to the Brooks Estate to film our first episode of our series on the Paranormal 24/7 network. So they will be our first episode. So you guys will get to see hands-on what's up. And we're going to have our podcast there as well that Friday.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
okay, back to it.
Well, you know what's going to be good is as things move forward and other investigators go and people are able to get, more and more of these little snippets, these more and more that can be put together and get this. I don't know if you guys remember when you were younger, you used to do the collage, right? You put like all the little pictures together and it just started to make one big picture.
Yep.
And I think the more and more that happens, it'll not only will it do a lot of justice for the Brooks Estate alone and kind of helping round out its history, but who knows what we find in the future. There could be, you only have a certain amount of information we have right now that we have access to in history, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, there isn't some kind of transient thing going on, like maybe a portal too.
Yeah, I can tell you this: the girl doll that's in there. I don't think we had any history. You didn't have any history on the girl doll, did you, Kristen?
The only thing that I can tell you is that a paranormal group, a local one, went to Buffalo, New York to purchase her because she was possessed. She was a haunted doll. And they drove to Buffalo, to purchase her. And they brought her here for her to stay so she'd have somewhere to stay. So
she is definitely, there's something definitely attached. I mean, K2s, cat balls, everything, REM pods, everything goes off with that doll. So there's something attached to that doll, or whoever's there likes to play as the doll.
we have a video of it running a paranormal investigator out.
oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
We have to get all these. I'll get all these videos together, and we'll make sure that we get them to Grizzly or post them somewhere where people can see them.
Yeah.
So what? I guess basically my question is, what did the team feel the necessity to bring that in for? Was there, like, did they have a reason to want to bring a doll in? Was it for the child potentially?
No, in my opinion, it needed somewhere to stay, and it wasn't with them. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it works that way. Seriously, it works that way a lot.
It's not, it's not going to be with me either. I mean, it's right here all it wants to. I don't come here very often.
Odell doesn't do the Brooks Estate. he'll go, like, if we're there, he'll go in with us, but he doesn't stay.
I own it and I mow the yard. That's about it.
I'd be awfully interested to get some more data from that doll, like maybe whether it's with,
we could go up there.
with an Oculus or with like some sort of
a
Paraforce. Right, that too. A Paraforce would be nice.
I had a Paraforce. I actually used it on the doll. I have video of that.
Oh, cool. We've never used one.
No, we know about it. We've never actually used
so I like an Ovilus. I like them. They're outrageously expensive. Paraforce is quite a bit less expensive, but it works for me. But you have to look at it as the same way that the spirits, like the Ovilus doesn't work for me as good as the Paraforce does. But it all depends on the spirit. So if you get the Ovilus and it works for you, it works for you. But like the Paraforce works better for me. That's what I use there. I love it. Like I want one, but of course everything's
little pricey.
Yeah, they think an awful lot of it.
But we definitely will do definitely do a session or two with the doll for sure.
Did activity increase when the doll came in?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
It was
I think
the further the house got along is when, I mean, it got to the point in here we had already justified everything that we could. I mean, it wasn't.
It was worse during the actual renovation.
Yeah.
Like it was very, very active during the renovation.
Like it would break.
It was like it was mad,
Like
or curious. Maybe that's what it was. But
Mhm.
Once we finished and things have settled down, it's more subtle.
Okay.
I mean, because no one's in here, no one's disturbing it.
Right. Yeah.
Really, I'm the only one that's in the house 99.9% of the time, unless we have rented it. And and those people are only here usually for a night. And speaking of that, I can tell you we've had 2 or 3 guests that rented the house off of Airbnb. There was no refunds, no anything. And they came, and both of them in less than 30 minutes
I know what
walked
you're
in the house, and they leave and never come back.
Whoa!
Wow.
Now,
Shut the front door.
The place is loaded.
yes.
telling
Now
you.
I didn't ask. I was afraid to send a message. Hey, are you okay? What's going on? Because I was afraid that what they would put in the reviews on Airbnb. So
Right.
I just let it be. I let it ride.
Yeah.
But I don't know why. But I find that to be very odd after paying quite a bit of money to stay and not staying long enough maybe to use the bathroom. Walk around and then go.
He got his
Hmm.
I mean, so
I would have to know. I would have to know.
suitcases out.
Yeah.
Fear
But
is a
they,
great motivator.
But they weren't investigators. They were just people that rented it.
Just people, because on Airbnb we don't have it listed as haunted. It's not. Nothing is mentioned on Airbnb about that because I don't want to deter anyone from coming.
Sure.
I thought that's
And also,
scary.
we want, when they check out, we want to know if anything happens to them, and that they can tell her or whatever without them not having a heads up about anything.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. Knowing what I know in that place and staying for as long as I did. I couldn't imagine being some joker off the street, walking in there as haunted as that place is and not knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
I was here for 4 nights and I was expecting it, so I knew it happened. But if it's some random Joe off the street, could you?
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure
man.
these people had called. They was just passing through. They was going somewhere else. I think up north. And, I mean, I seen them. He got his wife out. He got the luggage out. Got everything out. And me and Christian were sitting there talking to each other like that. I wondered how long it's going to take to think by in the morning. And we kind of make a little side bet, between me and her. And
I knew it.
it
Side
wasn't
bet.
30 minutes. It wasn't 30 minutes. He took
They
his
got
wife
their
back
money's
outside,
worth.
He got the luggage back out, and they loaded up and they left and they never come back.
Look, we're sitting on
Wow.
the bed at home in the bedroom watching the security cameras outside.
Damn, we gotta film this.
That's
In
Tank.
our-
other
that's our
words,
entertainment.
in other words, folks, don't rent this place unless you like spirits.
Yes.
Unless you like haunted houses, not the fake ones with Michael Myers. Unless you like haunted houses, don't stay in Brooks Estate.
Yeah,
Oh,
or
I
rent
gotta
it.
know
But
when it's booked so I can be outside in the bushes filming.
You'll be peeking up over the sign.
I think that even for some of the Joes that come off the road, as long as they, if you have like in a little booklet, just say, hey, here's some history of the house. Maybe they won't be as, I don't know. It's tough to
No.
say because we live in the world where it doesn't.
We're desensitized to that stuff
so I don't
now.
know.
So yeah.
Have the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once you do it for so long, I mean, for as long as I've been doing it, when you walk in, you can tell somebody's is haunted. Like I can
Oh,
walk
yeah.
in I can walk in anywhere and be like, wow,
Yep.
it's the energy and the aura.
It's
When
that
you
gut-
walk it, when
that
you
feeling
walk
in
in,
your gut, and then
Yes.
you get that shaky knee feeling, and then
yes,
little pricklies on your hair, and you feel like you want to throw up, and you're like,
I just
okay.
sent you the video of the dog and the
yeah, I was about to pull that up.
investigator getting run out.
Is that that's that what's his name?
Dawson.
Dawson. Yeah. I'll have to put that video on there. I've seen that one. I've got a bunch of y'all's videos saved. I think I want to make a Google Drive because I have one already with the evidence that we got and the ones like that you guys have sent. I think I'm going to put all that in a Google Drive, and pass it off to everybody to be where they can see the evidence that we have, and then some evidence you guys have, and then from that point on, we'll make sure that everybody that goes there tags. We'll make sure they tag and tag and tag and tag so people can see this place is haunted, folks. I'm not just saying that. And you get to go to Lambert's. I know I mentioned that. I know that's crazy. but folks, you get to go to this place that you sit. It's like a souped up Cracker Barrel. You walk to this place and you're sitting there. They're walking around with these like bowls of stuff. They're just putting like scooping it onto napkins. And I'm like, what? So then I'm sitting there and I'm like, they're like, dude, put up your hand. And I'm like, put up my hand for what? And they're like, trust me, I've got this on TikTok. So I put my hand up. Well, this apparently they hired Peyton Manning's daughter because she threw, I swear to you, I put my hand up right above my head. She threw a roll directly into my hand. It was the craziest thing.
Across the room.
Across the room. Like, have you ever been in one of these, Grizzly?
No.
You stand literally. Crazy. I can walk. So this place, you've been to Cracker Barrel. So it's a souped up Cracker Barrel. So you go to the very back of this place, and they will throw a roll from the front of this place to the back of this place into your hand. We're going to go when we're there because I plan on going 2 or 3 times. I've already asked them about filming. So I think they're going to let us come in and do like a little tidbit.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah. We got to
don't eat before you go there.
Now, did you know, I didn't know this until I went to the one here where we live. Do you know that you can actually get seconds?
You can get seconds?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't pay extra.
You don't pay
if you
extra.
can,
on your order, like the menu order that you make?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, no, I did not know
You can get it
that.
off the menu stuff. Like if I got chicken and tenders, I can get refilled.
Yes.
You just can't get to go baskets.
Right. You can't get to go baskets. But if you ask for more, now
we'll bring you more.
Anybody who's ever been, I know we're way tangenting, but anybody who's ever been to that, right. if you go to Lambert's, there is no shortage of food on that first plate. I mean, it is. I mean, I'm a big boy. I can put it down and I can't get it all down. So it's crazy. And then you can get another plate, which
I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that.
I have, but not successfully.
There is no way that I could do that. No. I mean, the rolls themselves are like 5 pounds.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's true. But
we're going Grizzly for real. I mean, it's a yes have to situation.
Yeah, I think that with that, it adds to the whole, ambiance, the whole experience, to go right. And then, you get there and you can enjoy a good meal and then get the crap scared out of you right afterwards. I think it's great.
Yeah.
And I mean, Sykeston's up the street. I mean, that has a ton. Sykeston's awesome. And then, what's it called? Cape, what's the, you know what I'm talking about?
Cape Girardeau.
I don't know how to say it. I'm from the country. I can barely say this.
You're fine.
But so that's up the road as well. So, there's all that to do. I mean, there's some cool and they're friggin' where they got, is that the historical society where you guys got married?
Yeah.
The place is freaking amazing. We took a tour. We called the guy while we were there visiting them and asked if we could take the tour. Dude, it is phenomenal. Like we'll go up there because we're going to be there for a while. We'll go up there and try to tour that. But it is phenomenal. It's beautiful. It's
Jackson, you missed it. We had the keys in that house for like 3 days.
You had the keys?
The keys. Yes, the keys. I had full access to that house 24/7 for like 3 or 4 days. Yes, you missed it.
Thank you, sickness.
I spent so much time in there. I fell in love with it.
See, this is why I can't wait to get my tonsils chopped off. Chopped out. I guess not off, chopped out. Natalie told the doctor that if they didn't get them out for me so I could get better, that she was going to Skyline is a hospital here, that she was going to take me to the Skyline parking lot, get a cauterized knife, cut them out, and shove me into the room because they're a trauma center. She's got my back.
Yeah.
She said cauterized, and she took me to the hospital. So, I mean, at least she was going to give me that much. She didn't say, I'll just cut them out and leave you there,
Rub some dirt in it. You'll be fine.
I mean, rub some dirt on it.
Man, shut the front door, brother.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. All right, we're crazy, dude. We're crazy.
Yeah.
But, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I think that I'm really excited to go. I'm really excited to get a chance to kind of break into it. Because again, with it being the age that it is, with it not having as much residuals, kind of very fascinating to me.
I agree.
You look at all the, we can say the names or not, doesn't matter. You look at all the really big houses out there. And there is some that say they have a lot of activity, but for the most part, a lot of it's pretty residual. And I think it'd be interesting to find out where that separation is. Like, I'm sure there's probably some residual there as well. It's kind of getting outshined right now with all the current activity. So I'm curious to see if there's an equal amount of some residual that's out there. And again, the more eyes we can get on it, the more people that can get the data out there. It'd be interesting to find out if there is much more on the underneath than what we see on the surface.
Well, two quick stories. So when we went, we decided to have a tour. So we brought in some folks, and one of the gentlemen like made fun of us, yada yada. You guys know what I'm talking about. Made fun of us pretty much the whole time, acted like we were fools. So we actually, in front of a tour, had everybody. We had a REM pod. You guys know what a REM pod is.
Yeah.
Had a brand new REM pod, brand new battery, in front of everybody in the room. Die. It started beeping right in front of everyone. It stayed right there and it died. Every Estes method we've ever done in there has been insane. We've had, I've had cat balls fall. Well, actually, do you want to tell them about the stairs, or you want me to just mention the stairs?
Oh, no. It was
Yeah, so-
during.
Go ahead.
It wasn't during an Estes. You had that one little thing. What was it that you
Oh, no.
brought?
I was going to tell you about this. Well, they have witches stairs. I was going to tell you what type of stairs you have. They
I
have.
was talking about the cat balls behind me on the stairs.
Yeah.
When you were, yeah. Okay.
They have. Well, yeah, those cat balls on the stair. That was when one of them lit up, and then one of them rolled down the stairs.
Yeah, total cold spot. I was sitting there, and I mean, it was on me. Either sitting behind me, sitting next to me, it walked through me. I don't know, but it was there.
They well, they have witches stairs. You guys know what witches stairs is, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, don't have to use the bathroom in the middle of the night.
I bet not.
But no. So I mean, just too quick, because I know we only have about 15 minutes. So just like the paranormal side of it, I kind of want to jump into that just a little. We had the REM pod die. We had a cat ball on the stairs.
The staircase is original to the house. I paid to have the staircase taken out in sections, but we wanted it refinished or whatever with the same
wood.
The
same wood.
Like
We turned them around. Is what we
it's
did.
the same staircase that was in the house,
but we turned it around.
But we turned it around, and they've refinished it. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, so that's already a fun part in itself. but I had, I went upstairs to get the cat ball off the stair. I think I can't remember if it was that night. It had to be. But when I got to the top of the stairs, I tried to get Billy to come to the cat ball. He wouldn't do it. So I went up to get the cat ball. When I got up there, I looked to the corner. Well, when you get to the top of their stairs, I use my hands a lot to talk. When you get to the top of the stairs, there's a rail. So right when I got to the top of those stairs, I turned to my right to look out of my side vision, and there was two little feet. And I was like, oh, and I froze for a second. I was like, oh my God. And then you could hear, I think you guys heard it downstairs. You could hear his little feet run into the room next to me. So we heard that. We've heard giggles. I had them on the Paraforce. I've never seen, you're going to have to pardon my French, but I have to say one word, but it said laugh my ass off. It said it on the Paraforce, and I've never seen that before. There's things in there that should not be in that Paraforce.
Right.
It went off. I have videos of that. We have videos of I think Odell was walking. He was walking away from the rocket chair. It was rocking. I had the day I was leaving, I left a REM pod in the chair, and I was videoing, telling them goodbye. Like we were getting ready to leave, and the REM pod started going off. Like it was responding. They have an old radio, an old radio there that the cat balls are set off on the radio. There's no, we ran a millimeter through the whole house, and we turned the electric. Turned the electric off, air conditioner off. I mean, it spikes and there's no electricity, so I know it's not electrical. So
speaking of the old radio, we have a recent video.
Security cameras out.
I don't know, it's like 2:00 in the morning, and
did we send that to you, Jason?
No, you didn't send me one.
She woke me up about 2:00 in the morning. She's like, Michael, somebody's in the estate. So I got up, and I don't even know if I threw clothes on. I threw my boots on. I grabbed a couple 100-round drums. It was raining so hard you couldn't see. And I come over here, and she was behind me. Anyway, there's nothing.
But on the cameras, you could hear someone screaming and yelling.
You hear a little kid scream, help me, help me.
Yes. And then you can hear like it sounds like talking in the background. And then and to me it sounded like an old news broadcast or something that you would hear, a very monotone voice, you know. Well, come to find out, a friend of ours heard it and he knew exactly what it was as soon as he heard it. And it's that song by Red Solvine, Phantom 309. That's what's playing in the background on the security camera.
Really?
Now, mind you, we don't have a working radio, a TV, nothing in this house. There's nothing that you can watch in this house.
I
Yeah,
bought
that's
the
what TV.
radio, and the guy
It's
that I
great.
bought it from said, he asked me, was I mechanically inclined or whatever? And I was like, I mean, I can do whatever, I guess. And he handed me, there's a bucket over there of parts. He said, well, if you can put it back together, it you know, with some today's what do you call it? Modernized parts. It may work, but the bucket's still sitting over there with the parts. I never put it together, and there's no TV in here.
But yeah, that was pretty cool. Now that was
cool.
different. And when you listen to Phantom 309, that's just
2
creepy.
o'clock in the morning, pouring down rain. There's nobody out.
Well, then you had
a little kid on the camera yelling, "Help me, help me!" And then there's like a grown person voice, screaming.
Did you all get a geological survey of that area by any chance? Like, do you know what rocks under you or anything?
See, it could be. That's what I'm saying. It could be limestone. Who knows?
Yeah,
I mean, it could be.
I'm curious about that.
Or a spring could even run under it. You never know.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking more.
Caves.
I actually looked up the map of the area, and it's supposed to be like a lot of clay and mud. I didn't see a lot of like rock, but the water, there's so much water.
The story that we were told about the land dispute judge was, and it makes sense because when I was a kid, when we moved over here, it was full of trees. I mean, there was trees everywhere. But back then they had cut it down. I guess whenever they built some, I don't know, but the two families got into it over the timber rights. It wasn't the land or whatever. It was, I guess they had cut the trees down to take and sell or whatever. And that's, you know, I guess he had came out somewhere around here. I don't know if it was like exactly here or whatever to I guess to settle the dispute. And it was.
He got shot.
Yeah, bad deal for him.
He didn't make the right decision, I guess.
No, not at all.
Anyway.
Wow.
I'm really curious to find out maybe potentially rock or if there's some kind of stream. Because, you know, of course, running water is sort of it's pretty well established. That gives it a bit of a kick in the pants.
Any kind of spring or anything.
Yeah. And with it being raining, I find that interesting.
Well, yeah, if it was storming.
If it was it storming, lightning, all that?
It was
coming down.
It was throwing down.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because by the time I got back home, I was soaking wet and
it was dead quiet outside. You know, all the lights were out at everyone's houses. You know, it was quiet. So I don't know. It was very strange though, and it was creepy. It was like coming over here, you know, and you see nobody's up, there's no lights on, and you know what you heard, but yet you don't hear it once you come outside. And then when you get over here, everything is completely silent. So,
but just for the record, I had come over here armed because I thought somebody had broken the house.
Of course you should. Yeah.
If I had known beforehand, if you know what was going on, I would have rolled over in the bed and told her, you know, you're beat. I don't know what to do.
Hey, I don't blame you one bit. If something woke me up like that, trust me, I would not go in there without anything.
And there's one set of investigators that's coming here. For some reason, they say it's harder on me than it is anybody. And with some of the things that's happened and some of the things that we know, that there's no way that they could have possibly known that.
Yeah.
Well, I believe, you know, I don't know why, but for some reason, I guess it's worse on me than it is anybody. That's why I don't.
I gotta be honest with you. I sense that with you. I can just by kind of how between Kristen and yourself, the reaction and some of the stuff that we talk about, I can kind of with body language can tell that I think they probably I wouldn't say they got a problem with you, but they definitely react to you pretty well.
He don't like them.
I've had a couple incidences that. I mean, it's bad. A couple things is bad, and one could have ended up a lot worse than what it did. But I don't know. I don't. I have no idea. I can't explain that part of it. But
be interesting to get into that and find out what you know what's going on there. If anything, to give you some peace of mind too. You know, So that way, you're not dealing with, someone just singling you out. I just wonder if there's
Well, at first I
something.
didn't know. I had no clue about all this stuff and what's going on. I've never, if I've experienced anything, I've wrote it off as something
Sure.
else, and I didn't know how this goes. And I had some people set me down and explain to me how you have to act when things go. And I didn't know, man. I mean, I guess the more scared you are, or whatever, the worse things are. And then, we got some videos of that too. I had to change my whole entire demeanor towards it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But that part still don't matter sometimes. I mean, the only difference is I might turn around and walk away instead of run.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, moving forward, the more information we get, it'll make it a little bit easier to deal with too. I mean, sometimes I've found with active activity, boy, that's kind of a double thing, but with activity, like, yeah, right. Sometimes it's just a matter of they're trying to get a point across. And at some point, if you can get down and drill down what some of that is, sometimes it gets a little bit better. I think everybody always says you got to have a conversation with them, tell them it's your house and everything, to a point, of course. Yeah, I'm sure you have. But, but I think the more information and the more people that are able to get eyes on it, I think it'll help dispel a little bit of it. I don't think it'll ever go away per se, because I think that there's probably a lot going on with having that much non-residual energy. But if anything, I think it just makes it more, not only just more interesting for everybody else, but it just makes it easier for you guys too.
It's just like there's people that has left here before that has come across there because the car won't start. So I'll get, whatever, a jump box and a few tools, whatever, and to come and help them out. And, then whenever I get here, their car all of a sudden starts in. And I've got to the point now where if it happens, I just turn around and go back over to my shop. Like, I mean,
that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like, I mean, I could go for another hour and tell stories that about where we were there. I mean, I've got and we're coming again. That's the cool. Oh wow, sorry, hit the table there. That's the cool thing. We're coming back, so we're going to get even more. Yep. And we get to take Melinda this time. So Melinda's our medium that we get to take in, and I cannot wait.
That's cool.
I cannot wait to get her in there, because she I don't know if you guys have ever heard of her, Melinda Wolfram. She's she's legit. She's told me things that me and my mom only know. Like nobody else knows. So
wow.
She's gonna be fun there. She's gonna get a lot of answers there too.
Yeah, so that's gonna be interesting to see what comes across.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'll be a good time.
That hour went by quick.
Yeah, I know. You want to?
Not hard to do.
No.
So you guys tell everybody how we can find you as far as Generation X first.
Yep. So Generation X Paranormal. We have a YouTube, of course, Generation X Paranormal, simple and easy enough. Actually, I think it's Generation X Paranormal Podcast on YouTube. Yeah. But and of course, we're available anywhere you can stick a stinking podcast anymore. So yeah, we're available on Spotify, Apple. I mean, pretty much everywhere. But if not, you can always get us also at gxparanormal.com. So we have our own site. We get a lot of information there. I think we're available just about on every social platform that makes you nauseous. Yeah, we're available on Facebook, as you know, Tank. We're available on Instagram, which our daughter's trying to teach us. We're available on X. We're available on, I don't know, all of them probably, but
everything.
Yeah. But yeah, come in, check us out. I mean, we kind of cover everything with the paranormal. We're getting more into just doing on-site stuff too, rather than just, storytelling type things. But yeah, that's kind of, I miss anything?
No, I think you got it all.
All right.
I'm gonna let you guys tag along with me on some stuff. Yeah. You said you guys were just starting out, so man, it would be cool if you guys would tag along too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So Brooks Estate, where do we find you guys?
The Brooks Estate, we're on Facebook, and then of course we have Airbnb, and the email is thebrooksestateBnB@gmail.com.
And
awesome.
You can also contact me, of course, if you have any questions about the place. You know where to find me. I'm on Facebook and TikTok mainly. YouTube now because of good old Grizzly. So, but yeah, that's how you find me. Grizzly, how do you find you, bud?
Everywhere. Bigfoot Outlaw. I'm on all social media.
Well, folks, it's been awesome. make
Yes.
sure, guys, please go follow the Brooks Estate. And just check it out. Look at our stuff. Look at TikTok. Guys, get out there to see it. It hasn't been investigated enough. That place is loaded and needs some love. So you guys have got to get out there to check it out, man. Like I said, we're about to go back. I can't wait to go back. I've been itching. I was sick last time, so I couldn't go, but I'm coming this time. So you guys, it's been awesome. Thank you guys so much for being on. Until next time, you guys stay tuned, and it's going to be absolutely fabulous. Until next
Take
time.
care, everybody.
Thanks.
guys.
Bye,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Thank you.